Guys, Keith Trades. Today is January 30th, and a great day in the Discord. Ended up taking 4 wins. The first trade I actually got stopped out of, but majority of the members held, and it was a bit of a mistake on my end, but majority of the members had the confidence to hold the trade, and they all cashed that trade. But I was able to get it back, and then get it back even more in the PM. But we're going to get right into these setups. A little bit of testimonials we got. I just got 2. Some of the members just don't want to send testimonials for some reason, but Jordan got 632 on a small size day, and then Nessa made $4,000 about to pass her 150K funded. And my pre-market plan, right, I said we taken previously high and we balanced and found buying, right? I'm looking for long continuation to the pre-market high and the new week opening gap fill. We got the pre-market high delivery. We failed to hit the new week opening gap, which I believe is probably going to come overnight or tomorrow. And I said we also had generated lows, so if we get a short model, I'm looking for these targets, and these targets got hit as well. And overall, a great day. So coming into our first trade of the day, it was a nice manipulation leg sweep. We swept out these lows. We left a nice bullish SMT. So now we're looking for an inverse model. Again, my targets, the 715 high is fairly simple. It is just going to be the pre-market high on the day. Again, it's 709 here because it's MNQ. When I look for targets and when I trade, I'm trading on NQ charts. So it's a little bit different, but it's the same point. So again, off the open, we had a nice consolidation range sweep lower of these lows, and we left an SMT. All right, keep track of the 542 and the 625 highs. If we go to ES at the same time point, we can see that the 625 high and the 542 highs failed to get swept. We make a higher low for ES and a lower low for NQ. Lower low. So we have a bullish SMT, and a point of entry would come from this inverse close entry. And I ended up placing my stop here, so I had just got ticked out. Majority of the members just held the position, as it did respect to this bullish. In my opinion, I did not think it needed to push down, but if we look at the candle closes here, it ended up respecting. So just a small mistake by me. Members cashed the trade anyways, but I think I should have put my stop at this wick low here. But usually I leave my stop here, and I was comfortable doing that as I got in the trade and we started to displace higher, and I was up 20 points, so I left my stop at this point. But just a small mistake by me. Again, we've had trades like this where once we started to find the buying, we instantly deliver the target. So, you know, I'm not upset about this outcome. I ended up making it back with 2 more wins, so it doesn't matter to me. But, you know, just a bit more room. Especially the market hasn't been the cleanest delivery. We have a clean model and a clean setup, but not the cleanest delivery. That is totally fine. And members got paid around 75 points on this full hit. And that was a great quality trade. Start the day off. SMT inverse model. Sweep of the consolidation lows. Right, so this is your early entry reversal. And then I go to my continuation short. Right, we ended up sweeping out the 715 highs, right? So we swept out the pre-market highs, but I did not take the early entry short. Why? Number one, I like to see an SMT at the highs. For me to take an early entry inverse, I would want to see SMT. But I did not take it because I figured that market would likely start to see the new week opening gap fill. So I waited for the clear narrative to start look short. And then my targets, right, we have 25.73 and 25.05. 5.73 is going to be the pre-market low, and then 5.05 is going to be this 1 hour low. And obviously my target's lower down here, but they did not get met today. Pre-market high was swept. Again, your early entry would likely be this 2 bearish fair value gaps. I did not take. I waited for a clear look. We ended up sweeping out this low. So now I look towards my continuation model. My continuation model would be from a 5 or 15 minute fair value gap. We get a 5 minute fair value gap, and we trade back into that gap and find a rejection. After the rejection, I'm looking for a point of entry, and we ended up taking this inverse gap here. And my target was just the internal low for 29 points. I did not want to play down to my 505 target, which ended up getting met. Because the market in our trade started to chop around, started to get weird, I did not have confidence that we would get aggressive delivery to the lows. I had a feeling it would mess around a little bit, which would end up putting in a small S&T here, and then, you know, getting a potential model here. But I just did not take. I was fine with that. But this would be your early entry after a sweep of buy side, and then your continuation would be trading back into a higher time frame fair value gap, and then continuation to the target. But that was it for AM, either 1 for 2 or 2 for 2. And we came into the PM, and I ended up taking a personal trade. The members weren't on, but I gave out my full plan, and that thing was a beautiful plan. So coming into my chat, right, I said I'd want inverse 5-minute and longs to equal high 21.625. This was called at 10:05 a.m. Right, so I called the equal high target at this time point here. This is where I called the equal highs. And why do I like it? Because overall we had a bullish model, right? We drove back into the 15-minute fair value gap, held it nicely. And if we go on the 5-minute, we have very, very clear 5-minute equal highs, which is going to be the 625 level here. So I took a personal trade, right? We left this small SMT, and I got the inverse. So I took a long at 49s, and I just looked for 70s to scale break even at a 1-to-1, and then the rest got out break even here. So this is my personal scalp that I took, and then ended up being my original plan, which is what? I'd want inverse 5-minute longs. So coming on the 5-minute, right, this was the gap that I was looking at right here. Right, I did not like this close. We ended up drawing back down. We left another SMT, and then we inversed, and then we started to see the play long. I called for a 70 entry. Why? Although we got the closure here, it is not a very strong close for me. I would want to minimum see market close above the internal high, which did not do. So we stayed a bit patient. And then again, right, the SMT, the inverse, this would be your early entry long, which is actually a pretty sniper entry. But I called for members to wait for the clear closure, which would be looking at this gap here as well, this 1-minute fair value gap. Once we got the closure, a clear closure at this 1-minute fair value gap, that's been respected once, twice, 3, 4, 5. Once we got the closure, I called for a 70 entry long. Again, I wanted to stay patient on our price back down to this 5-minute here, 565, but didn't get tapped in, so that's totally fine. But members just market ordered in, which is totally fine. And I called for a play this trade tight. Right, the market was a bit choppy. So I said, let's get a 93 scale at these small highs. Scale break even. And then full PT is what? Equal highs 21.65. 21.625. Which got hit nicely. Again, guys, the proof is all here. No editing, nothing. I called this at 10:04 a.m. I called this trade here where I got my little scalp. And then I called the full model when we got the inverse 5 and we got a nice smooth delivery. And then I also had a little brag to the members, but that's besides the point. This trade paid about 50 points. 56 points. But, yep, that's going to be it for January 30th. Right, early entry or continuation. Right, let's go again. This would be your early entry. Your continuation would lie around here. But there's not really an entry point for that. But it's more clear and apparent at the AM session, which is early entry inverse or bearish or continuation short after the 5-minute rejection. And then here is a early entry play as well that did not give a continuation. A continuation would have seen what, guys? My continuation look would have seen us respect this 5-minute bullish. And we would have looked for this inverse here, right? So we drew back into the 5-minute, and we would look for this inverse here to play up to the new week opening gap, but we just did not get that play. So early entry or continuation. Those are my two models, the only trades I take, and they did totally fine. I tried to catch the early entry here, but, you know, just a bit chopped, so that's totally fine. But that's going to be it for January 30th recap. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. And if you want to join the Discord, there'll be a link in the bio. We'd be happy to have any and all new members. But until next time, guys, peace out.